Cool. So hello, everyone. We are Spiced Academy. Today we're talking about a success story from our school, from zero background to a job in tech. And we're joined today by myself. So Anna, I'm the admissions manager. So Chen, our community manager, and Lillian, who is one of our graduates, will talk about her experience at our school and which program she did and what her job looks like now in tech. So I will hand over to her without further ado. Enjoy the event and speak soon.
Hi, everybody. As Anna said, my name is Lillian. A little bit about me, my background. I'm Dutch and American. I kind of grew up between both. I did a bachelor's in business and a master's in economics. And before I sort of made the leap into a more technical role, my working experience ranged quite a bit. I started off working in as an accounting clerk, mostly during my college years, during my bachelor's years. Then I moved into logistics and operations, so supply chain management, and I had already started some experience in business intelligence, but just really basic stuff. So just mostly using Excel and SQL. And it was in that role as in business intelligence where I started learning more about, data science and what you can do with, a better foundation of statistics and programming. So my journey with Spiced began in 2018. I had finished my master's and I felt like the master's had really provided me a good foundation of sort of statistics, but I lacked sort of the practical knowledge. I didn't know Python. I didn't really know a lot of the sort of more corporate software that's being used for those type of data roles. And so I attended Spiced in 2018, graduated in October, and then I, right out of the boot camp, was hired as a data science consultant. And then I switched into a more corporate role as a data scientist with a company called TeamViewer. And last year, I got promoted at TeamViewer, but I felt like TeamViewer was not the best fit for me, so I switched positions to my current role. I'm currently at a Berlin-based startup called Pitch as a senior data analyst. So why did I choose Spiced? So like I said, I felt like, attending university and having, a master's in economics gave me a really good foundation for the statistics, but I was still lacking so many things. So what I was doing was in my free time, so mostly like on the weekends or in the evenings, I was taking like any kind of online course or reviewing any kind of online materials I could. I was doing any YouTube videos I could find. I was taking various courses like Udemy courses. I was, trying to study from various books, especially the books shown here. I was, sort of renewing my knowledge of like linear algebra with like Khan Academy videos. And it just felt like it was just not really, it was going to take me years to like get to a point where I could like confidently apply for a data science position. So that's when I started like looking around and thinking like, maybe there's like a program or a school or certification that kind of speeds that up for me. And that's how I found Spiced. What is Spiced and what is a boot camp? I can tell you it is not a cakewalk. You do have to be prepared. It is a 3-month program where you're basically packing in, 1 or 2 years of a college course, right? They're really long days with but it's very practical. So the mornings are usually where you're learning lessons, and then the afternoons are where you're applying those lessons into various assignments and tasks. But it was exactly what I needed to take sort of the theoretical from what I had in my master's to the applicable. To be successful at Spiced, I had to empty my schedule for 3 months. What did that mean? It meant that I didn't see my friends a lot. I got up early, around 6 a.m. most days, to review materials from the day before. And then I was usually actively learning, coding till about 6 p.m. most days. I think it's important to keep a growth mindset. Some of the concepts are really abstract and complex, and you're not going to master all the concepts, but it's good to have a growth mindset, to just be open to it and take those notes. And then I would tell myself, okay, I don't really understand how this works, but I've taken some notes. Maybe like later when it comes up in my work or something like that, I can go back to those notes and I can kind of study it deeper and also have fun. I look back at my time as Spice as being a ton of fun. I worked really closely with the people in my cohort, so we were all there for the same purpose, and it wasn't competitive. We weren't getting grades, so we kind of would help each other. One person would really grasp one concept, and they would kind of help us in our projects, kind of help us getting forward, and another person would grab a different part of the concept. And we even did a few group projects that way, just like how it would be in real life, like at work. So what did I learn at Spiced? I learned a lot. There is some sort of bigger categories here listed. Data analysis in Python, machine learning, SQL, data infrastructure or architecture, software engineering concepts, Git and Bash. For me, because I had some experience working in business intelligence, I sort of understood Postgres and Postgres SQL. And that's kind of what the beauty of the Spice Bootcamp was, is that it's quite customized. So the professor or the teacher, he had we had before I had even attended, had a meeting where he kind of had assessed me based off of my working experience and an assessment I did for the course. And he was able to kind of, customize some of the projects for me, some of the projects where he was like, you have a little bit of experience in this. So what I want you to do is I want you to run this out of a Docker image, or I want you to use a virtual machine for this. So he would add sort of an extra component to it to make it challenging for me. But for me, the most important part was, getting comfortable using Python, and we were using it every day, all day. And there were some machine learning concepts that no matter how many, YouTube videos and math videos and books I would cover, I just couldn't quite grasp them. And the bootcamp, the teachers are really experienced, and they have various ways of explaining things, like visually, mathematically, and finally it all started kind of to click. And the software engineering part and the Git part have been just added bonuses, because I use those learnings every day in my job. And what are some of the projects we worked on? Well, we had weekly projects. So you're building up a really big portfolio with all these weekly projects. They're going into your GitHub profile. So for future jobs, they're going to be able to see oh, this person has a broad experience working with different concepts. But some of the projects that really stood out to me was we did a group project. We did a Kaggle competition. Kaggle is sort of a online platform that provides data sets and then asks questions, and then you're sort of meant to deliver some results, and you get measured on those results, and then you can win the competition. You can win money. So we tried to win some money. We didn't win the money, but it was a really fun experience. And that was a movie review sentiment analysis. And it was just a really good experience, because not only were we learning the technical part, but we were also learning how to do project management. So we had to, stand in front of a whiteboard and kind of break down the project into various components and various people, and then so that it all kind of came together in the end, which is, kind of like how it would be maybe working, at a company with sprints or something, kind of breaking down the project per person so that everyone has sort of a fair part. And my final project was a pretty fun project. We got to choose the project we did. And because I used to work in operations and logistics, I really love working with geographical data. So I had found some open sourced data sets about the bike rental platforms that contained geographical coordinates, so I could trace the movement of the bikes throughout various German cities. And that kind of gave us I could use that as a proxy for just overall movement in the city. And I visualized that and shared that at our final presentation. And so what is a data scientist and what does a data scientist do all day? I think the best way to kind of go into that or talk about that is to kind of go through my schedule. Like most people, I have a pretty standard office job and pretty standard hours. I do have a child, a 2-year-old, so I can't always work in the afternoons, meaning I do make up for that in the evenings, but this is kind of okay for me. I usually start off my day by checking Slack, checking my emails, doing some correspondence. Then I check GitHub and pull requests that have come in from my team. What are pull requests? Pull requests are basically, GitHub is a version control tool, so you can create a script or a bit of code, and before you put it into production, you have to go through a review process. So everything gets reviewed. So I review my colleagues' work, they review my work, and it is, for me, kind of a quick win because, it is a big blocker for someone who's spent maybe days or weeks or months on some code, and now they needed to get it reviewed. And so for me to be able to get to that first thing in the morning to unblock them so they can move on with the development of their project is really important. So that is sort of my priority in the morning. Then I usually have some focus time in the morning where I code in Python. I do some scripting in SQL. I sometimes do just some visualizations with either Python or some sort of visualization tools such as Metabase or Tableau or Looker. I have experience working in multiple tools. I always try to make sure I take a lunch. So I take a break, I go for a walk or something. And then usually my afternoons are spent talking to stakeholders. So now my role is an analyst. My role before was as a data scientist. And the big difference here, I would say, is that as an analyst, I'm much more involved with my stakeholders. The projects tend to be slightly shorter, but also I'm asked to kind of give my feedback and my assessment on the projects so that we kind of move. So there's a little bit more of a symbiotic nature to it. Whereas with data science, I had sort of these larger, 6-month projects where I'd sometimes kind of not to talk to a single person for weeks and just focus on this project. But as an analyst, it's much more communicative. A lot of vigilant communication is necessary. So on Monday, I had a 2-hour project planning session. This session involved me sharing my screen with a Miro board. It's like the equivalent of a whiteboard. And we sort of mapped out all the different tables and models that would be needed for a marketing performance dashboard. Then on Tuesday, I always meet with the sales team. So I'm responsible for the leads. So I do lead scoring and lead automation. And Wednesday, I work with, we're my company's presentation software. So I work with the publish team, and they do a lot of A/B testing. So I support them in their A/B testing to make sure that their A/B tests are run accurately and scientifically. Thursdays, I meet with the DevOps team. So I support them by identifying any sort of trust and safety issues in the data So sometimes we can really quickly identify sort of bot activity in, searches, in signups, or yeah, we can. So there's just many different uses for data. And wherever I can, I try to block my calendar for focus time. So I actually do have time to deliver on these tasks, to work on these tasks, and not just talk about them. And because I block a big part of my afternoons to spend with my son, I do tend to catch up in the evenings. So it's kind of a typical week.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lillian, for sharing all your insights and taking time for us. If you have any more questions for Lillian, you can add her on LinkedIn. You can send her a question. You can also post in the chat. My colleague Zoe will help you with your questions. We'll also try to leave some questions in the end for Q&A time. So on to my part. So I'm Anna. I'm the admissions manager at Spice. And if you're interested in applying, I'll just talk to you a bit about how you can do that at our school. You can also sign up for chats with me afterwards. I'm happy to coach you and, answer any questions you might have. I've been working at Spice for about 3 years. So I have been in the bootcamp scene for a very long time. I've probably recruited about half of our student body, and I've probably interviewed around 3,000 candidates. So if you tell me what's going on, I've probably heard it before, and I can probably help you. So I'd look forward to meeting you. Our alumni background. A lot of people always ask me, like, do I fit the requirements? I'm coming from this and this field. Data science related, you'll see some categories here where our students typically come from. We also have a full stack web development course. In that course, you can really come from any background as long as you have a strong motivation to code, and you don't really need a maths background. Now for data science, the fields you can see here, they're usually math related. So it is quite an advantage if for the data science program or data analysis program, you come with some kind of statistics, linear algebra, calculus background. A very high percentage of the data science graduates and participants actually come from a STEM background academically. Of course, other fields work as well, but for data science, I would say you generally have to come with a bit more background knowledge. And if you've coded before, it is an advantage, but not a must. And that goes for all programs at Spice. You do not need to have coded before. One of my favorite quotes from a graduate is listed here. I'm just going to read you through it because I think it's absolutely amazing and very incorporating or encompassing of the experience here. So without a doubt, one of the best times of my life. It is truly life-changing. And I've seen it. I've seen a lot of students graduate, get jobs, and it's truly life-changing. The faculty and staff were and remained extremely helpful and supportive. The bootcamp gives a great overview of various topics and teaches valuable skills. We teach the most in-demand programming language in the market. It's designed to help you land your first role in tech. There is a great career support and a good number of hiring partners, so we also help you with career services, which helps to land an interview in today's competitive market. I can only recommend Spice to anyone wanting to advance their skills and career. This is from Clemens, one of our data science graduates recently, actually, I think within a year. We are funded by the Bundesagentur für Arbeit. I, my colleague Anne and Torara, our admissions team, we can coach you through getting a Bildungsgutschein. A lot of questions are around eligibility. General rule of thumb is you have not been working, or you have been working in Germany, in Berlin, you're registered about 6 months to a year and you've paid unemployment tax. Now there's a lot of exceptions to that rule, so the best thing to do is always get registered at the Bundesagentur für Arbeit, get a caseworker assigned to you so they can coach you or let you know what eligibility requirements you personally need to fulfill, because for everyone it's different. And exceptions to this rule are made. So like, let's say you haven't been working here that long, you haven't paid that much employment tax, but maybe your spouse is on a blue card visa, you might get the Bildungsgutschein. And there's a lot of exceptions, so it's always good to just ask them first. You should definitely be prepared for your call. I help people get prepared for it. You need to talk about why you want to change your career path. For full stack, it's a lot of career changers, like people coming from various different backgrounds. So you can talk about how there's a lot of open jobs in tech, how you'll get permanent contracts and how you'll get a good salary and how you'll always be in demand. For data science, you do kind of want to say it's a bit more of a specialization. I mean, it can be a career change as well. I do see a lot of people coming from academia into data science, into the industry, switching. But you can also say, look, I have a strong maths background. This is a good combination with data science, and this is the industry I can get into. So it really depends on how you tailor your approach to which course and your background. Why you chose SPICE, I mean, there's a lot of answers to that. There's our graduation rate of 93%, our employment rate of 83% within 4 months, 60-day hiring average, that we teach the most in-demand coding languages, our teachers, our class sizes, which are incredibly small. We don't take more than 15 per class, so you really get like a tailored individual approach. Our website is full of reasons why to choose us. Just make sure you know why you're choosing us and show them that you're motivated to join. How you will apply your new coding skills in the future and what kind of jobs you will be searching for, that kind of goes into one. But you want to talk about, you know, I'm going to go get a front end or full stack job. I'm going to go get a data science, data analytics, or software engineering, data engineering architecture job. You can print out or show them 5 to 10 positions that you want to enter after completion of the course. They always like to see that you're motivated. They always like to see that you've done your research, maybe even print out the curriculum and show them, look, they're teaching Python and this is a Python role. We also have these process steps on the website. How to get a Bildungsgutschein Spiced Academy, just Google it. You'll be on our page where you can really see these steps and also download our HZA certificate, which shows that we're registered. You want to take all of that to your appointment. Of course, on the side of that, you want to apply to SPICE. A lot of people always ask me, can I do this simultaneously? Yes, you can. It's also good to do the interview before you approach the Bundesagentur für Arbeit, because once you pass the interview with us, we do give you what's called a Kursangebot. It's an official offer letter, acceptance letter. So anyways, you'll apply on the website, you'll sign up for a little interview with myself or Anne or our admissions team, and we'll just talk to you about your motivation and background. It's really nothing to be nervous about. For data science, we do ask a bit about your math foundations. For full stack, it's more about motivation and, you know, willingness to learn, cultural fit. But really, it's a chat. We're super nice, we're super friendly, so don't be nervous. After you pass that, you get your Kursangebot. If you are a Bildungsgutschein candidate, of course, we do have full paying options. So if you're a full payer, that's different. You don't get a Kursangebot. You could just proceed if we accept you. Afterwards, you get our online prep. So you do about 40 to 60 hours of preparatory work that prepares you for the class. For full stack, it's JavaScript, HTML, CSS tutorials. For data science, it is Python, basics, statistics, linear algebra refreshers. For data analytics, it's a bit of Python basics and a little Excel task. So you'll be working on that while figuring out your payment option. Once you have the Bildungsgutschein, or once you say, hey, I want to enter a full paying installment loan contract, you get back to the admissions team and we secure your spot by entering what's called our student agreement. Once that happens, your spot is reserved and we give you access to our online test. Now, the test will test that you've understood the preparatory work. I don't like to call it test. It's more of a project because it's not timed. You download it, work on it in your own time, and upload it when you're ready to submit it. Teachers will give you feedback on what you need to correct, and you do need to pass it before the course begins. Once you do pass it, you can begin the course. We do have on-site and online program offerings. You would begin the course. And also, because this question comes up, we do teach completely in English, but our staff speaks German. I do as well, so if you have questions, you can come talk to me in German afterwards. If you're curious, we should connect, start the new year coding with us. You can always send us an email at hello@spice-academy.com. You can also send me an email, just replace the hello with anna@spice-academy.com. And if you have any more questions, there's a little QR code right there where you can schedule a 15-minute chat with our admissions team. Here we can really coach you through the Bildungsgutschein, or even, if you're debating, oh gosh, which of the 3 classes are for me, which bootcamp is for me, scan it, we'll schedule a chat. And on the right, you'll find the little scan for, starting your application if you're already convinced. Thank you so much. We do have about 5 minutes left, which is great because we can help you answer any of your questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can see the questions in the chat and we can go.
Can you see the chat?
All right. Cool. Let's see. Sure. Okay. Maybe we start with the first one.
Mm-hmm.
How is the day structured at Spice? So generally 9 to 6, Monday to Friday. It's a full-time 40-hour week. But as Lillian said, some people wake up at 6, some people code on the weekend. Like you gotta be prepared and ready to go. I always tell people you need to be, you need to be personally solid. You need to not be moving. You need to be solid with your partner. You need to not be working on the side. Don't write your PhD. Don't have a freelancing job. This takes time and dedication. Lillian, I think you would agree, right?
Absolutely. The more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it.
Thank you. Is there a lab setting where I can sit? Is there a lab setting where I can sit and work once the teaching is over? A lab setting. We have project work time between the classes. So that's where so basically you have 2 classes a day, 10 a.m. and 13:30. They run about 60 to 90 minutes each. And the rest of the day you're working on project work time where you can approach the teachers for questions. Lillian, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, when I took the course, we actually were small enough to sit around one big table, and we just spent all day around that big table. We had our classes in that room, and then we would continue sitting in that room and working on our projects. And it was really nice because, like I said, there was a lot of cross communication where one person would get stuck in something and another person would try to help them out of it.
Oh, thank you.
And we have 2 co-working space right now in the new campus. So actually we separate with the data science and also the full stack. So actually you can have your own space, like where me and Anna sit, it's a small booth, so you can enjoy your space here.
It's quite nice. The booths are quite nice. Okay, yeah. What salary can an individual expect? I have our employment statistics, so I can just give you a range. Lillian can probably give you a bit more insight there as well. But so again, we have a 60-day hiring average. 83% are employed within 4 months. Generally speaking, an entry-level tech position, let's say data science related, will get you around 40 to 42K average. This is a junior level role, so of course we're not seeing like senior and mid-level stocks and bonuses, but you could work up to that, obviously. I've seen things as high as 55. I've seen things as low as 33. I would also have to put a small disclaimer here that most of that is gathered from Berlin. So if you compare Berlin to Munich or Cologne or Hamburg, of course you're going to see higher salaries on the west or in the south of Germany. But I would say generally 42, 40K entry level is quite good for Berlin.
And as you said, it is. So the company I started working for right out of Spice was a London-based company, so salaries were higher.
Next question, is the bootcamp online or in person? So we have both offerings. You'll have to choose before beginning, like either fully on site or fully online. Now, of course, there's exceptions. If you're fully on site and you're sick for whatever reason, you have COVID, you have to quarantine, we can switch you online, but other than that, we expect you to be on site. For the fully online program, you can take it online for flexibility of everywhere, which is great. If you do want to come visit us on campus in Berlin, you can, but do keep in mind your classes will still be online, so you can't go be in a live classroom because they don't run adjacent to each other. How often are our courses starting? Good question. Every 4 to 6 weeks, we have a course starting, sometimes even sooner. And we do recommend to apply 4 to 6 weeks in advance, especially for full stack. If you're interested for full stack right now, it is in extreme high demand. So please apply as soon as possible. Data science, you have a bit of time right now, but also I would just always recommend to apply as soon as possible or schedule a chat with us so we can talk to you. Do you have some courses related to data engineering? So Lillian will have more technical insight into that, but we do have data architecture engineering covered in our curriculum. Lillian, over to you.
Yeah, like as I mentioned, because I had worked in business intelligence a bit, some of the projects were sort of customized to make them a little bit more engineering heavy for me. So when I did end up working at TeamViewer, I actually was able to take on a lot of the data engineering tasks, but I did not feel suited to work as a full-time data engineer. I just was like a data engineer's best friend because I could do a lot of the tasks myself.
Yeah, I mean, also the employment statistics, I would say about half go into a data analyst and the other half go into a data science role. I think about only 10% actually go into data engineering architecture, or let's say 5 to 10%, and those people are usually from an engineering background. So the way it aligns kind of coaches them into that role. So it also depends on your background and experience. But I would say you would probably work your way up if you want to, but the rest, it depends on background.
I think we're running out of time, right? I think there are a few questions. Anna, you can share the slides about the upcoming dates on your slides, if you can share with us again.
So just a
I
second.
just added the upcoming dates. So we have some questions about when is the next open day.
I mean, I don't have them on the presentation, but I'll just tell you guys. So the next web development class is starting June 7th on site in Berlin. It's fully on site. Then we have a fully online cohort coming on the 21st of June. So
it's here. Okay, where?
So yeah, again, June 7th, June 21st for data science. We have classes starting on the 16th of May. It's a bit too late for that now. Then the June 27th cohort. For beginners who are joining data analytics, what advice and tools would you recommend? Statistics and Tableau and beginners Python is always good. If you don't have all that, just statistics covers it a bit. If you've worked with Excel before, that's great. It's more of a beginner's course, so really it's the same as full stack. Anyone with a motivation to learn to code can come. I know we're over time, but I think I'll just keep answering the questions. Those who want to stay in the chat. Let's see. Again, Spiced only offers programs fully online and fully on-site, so you can do both. You just have to pick in the beginning. The official website is spicedacademy.com, which So shared. And the last question from Candy, that's such a cool name, I love that name. With a little tech background, is it okay to pursue the Spiced course? Yes, definitely, it's for beginners. But as I said, the different classes require sometimes a bit of different things. So again, from my experience, web development and data analytics, you can really come from any background. As long as you're motivated, ready to go, good cultural fit with us, everything works. For data science, it is quite important to come with at least some math foundations, stats, linear algebra, calculus. If you've coded a bit before, it's an advantage, but you don't really have to. So that's my insights. Lillian, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, we had a person with a computer science degree in my cohort, and just so the Python part might have been, he might have picked that up a bit faster, but then the other parts, like understanding some of the machine learning algorithms or how to know which algorithms fit which business problems, were all like, that was all brand new to him. So he was spending just as many hours as the rest of us trying to learn and keep up.
Awesome. All right, so I think we are good for today. I will post my email in the chat here, so you guys can always email me. I'm also going to post my LinkedIn if you want to add me. Please do. And also, you can join us in the chats later. I'm free basically all day except for lunch, which is 12 to 1. So I'd be happy to talk to you. Gerne auch in Deutsch. Yeah, that's it from me. Thank you so much.
Yes, and I think some people miss the company profile. Actually, if you click the company there, you can see all our social media application form and our official website there. So feel free to set up a call with us and then have a good day. Thank you, ladies, for the presentation.